Hello and good day. My name is Chris Palmer with chrispalmer.org. In today's local SEO supporting content video, what I'd love to share with you is the ideas and concepts of creating supporting content. More importantly, what I want to answer are some very keen questions or questions I get all the time. One of them is can I use AI content? Which content should I be creating? How do I structure the site once I have supporting content? How many pieces of supporting content should I have? And then how do I internally link them? So those are the questions that I'm going to answer in today's video. I don't want to waste any time. If you have a moment, please check out chrispalmer.org for all of your SEO needs, consultation, services, curious what we do. Scroll down to the very bottom of the page. Everything's right there. I made it as easy as I possibly could. With that being said, all right, without wasting any more time, I would like to answer the question that I get the most. Is it okay to utilize AI content when creating blogs or supporting articles? You can, all right? But what I do not want you to do is fall into the trap of creating massive amounts of content that's supporting content, that's blog content, that's AI content, that's about all these different types of topics that are semi-related and get a bunch of traffic that doesn't lead to sales. And if you've used AI in the past, what you'll notice is a lot of it struggles indexing, or it'll index and fall out of the index, or you'll get a bunch of traffic, but it's not going to convert. So I don't want you to fall into that trap. If you're going to use AI, have at it. But I really advise that you take the time to answer questions specifically about your product, your service. What I'm going to use is an example, all right? I'm working with or helping Melissa. She has a roofing company. I'm going to use that as an example. But what you really want to do, in my opinion, is have low amounts of blog articles that answer the most common questions, that carry the most volume, that make the most sense for a sale. For instance, let's take a look at roofing, all right? What I would do here is if I'm coming up with supporting content or blog articles, what I would do is I would head on over to SEMrush and type in roofing, all right? Type in roofing to the keyword magic tool and look for the questions that have the most volume. Generally, the questions that have the most volume are going to be who, what, when, why, where, and how. Figure out which questions have the most volume for your service. In this case, I'm looking up roofing. Where's the volume at? What's the best question? And what fits your brand? Then what I would highly advise you doing is maybe skip the AI. Write the article out. Answer the questions that are specific to your services. Write it specific to the locations that you're in. Like mention, in this case, Louisiana. Mention Kenner, Metairie, New Orleans. Mention the locations. Mention the state. Mention the services. Mention your shingles. Mention your warranties. Mention, right? Answer the query. But think about it. If I just did a search here for roofing, right? And I'm looking for questions, remember? I just want to point this out. People that have these AI tools, everybody does. They're cranking these articles out nonstop. You need to be able to differentiate yourself from all of those other articles. So yes, we can answer the same question, but answer it very specific to your brand, your business, your services. Make it human felt. All right. I think you'll do so much better. It'll get indexed. It'll stay indexed. It'll start getting traffic. And then if you want to add more as time goes on, like make the article longer to get more keywords, get more traffic, have at it. But what I don't want you to do is start cranking out articles, getting a bunch of traffic that won't convert to sales. With that being said, I want to point out the next piece of this. All right. I don't know why this is taking its sweet time. But with that said, oh, here we go. It finally came through. Take a look at this. How much does a roof cost? This would be a great winner, right? We're looking for informational content that's going to support the main idea. In this case, in this example, we're doing roofing, all right? So roofing / how much does a new roof cost? How long does a roof last? These are great questions, but talk about your services and your products specifically while answering that question. Next, I want to go ahead and point out, how do you house this on the site? Like, what does it look like? What do I put in the menus? What's the structure look like? Let's talk about that next. All right. So let's head on over. We're looking at this site. They want to add supporting content or a blog, but you should not call it blog. Unfortunately, the probability of someone looking for Hardy Pro Construction blog, in this case, again, this is an example, nil to none, but someone can be looking for roofing tips. So what I highly advise is, instead of naming your blog, name it a keyword that you can actually rank for. Because just like your top level service pages, your blog is just a housing page. So you know how you're going to create your service pages and then you have service location pages? Or you'll have a pillar page for roof, right? Or roofing, and then you'll have your location pages. It's the same as a blog. Your pillar blog page, instead of calling it blog, in this case, roofing tips. All right, you with me so far? Now, here's what we want to do. Let's head on over here. And I want to point out how you can go about structuring your supporting content. Like, how will it look? Also, what's the benefit of structuring it this way? And then, of course, how we can internally link the supporting content to give our service pages the best boost. Because at the end of the day, do you really want to rank an article and answer the questions? You do, as long as it leads to a sale, right? That's why you have a website, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at this together. I've taken the liberty to draw these gorgeous blocks here, right? So this right here, it says website, homepage, and these are our top level service pages. As you can see here, or pillar pages, call them whatever you'd like. We have website.com/roofing, website.com/tarping, website.com/metal roofs. All right. These are top level pages, also known as pillar pages. These top level service pages are like housing pages, just like our roofing tips that we just talked about. Now, what we want to do is we would like to add a blog, right? Or in this case, a tips page. So we're adding a blog supporting articles. So all we want to do here is we're going to add another page. So this is what I drew out here. Website.com/roofing tips. This is the blog. You with me so far? Excellent. So the next piece that I want to go ahead and lay out for you is I want to point out, when you're creating your blog articles, they're there to support the main idea or the pillar page. So I even drew one out here for you. So this is https://website.com/roofing. Roofing's the main idea or top level service page or pillar page, / how much does roofing cost? But of course, you're not going to create just one article. You might create 3, 4, or 5 to answer the most common questions. So as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and just draw a little line here. This red line signifies an internal link. So this is a supporting article. I'm supporting it inside of the structure, as you can see here, right? You can see it. This article is supporting this, right? How much does it cost? Roofing. This right here is linking to this, which is roofing. On top of that, these are the other articles that you could create. These are also going to point to the roofing page. All right. So this is a massive amount of internal links pointing to my roofing page, my top level page, the page I want to rank. You with me so far? Excellent. Now I want to go ahead and just give you another outline on what you're looking for when it comes to internal linking, when it comes to internal linking to your location pages, or where you're passing your internal link flow from your blog articles. Inside of Search Console, you'll find, if you scroll down to the left, you log into Search Console, on your left-hand side, there's a bunch of tabs. Scroll to the bottom and click links. When you land on the screen in the top right-hand corner, what you'll see is it'll say top internal links. It'll say this right here, top linked pages. This list right here from top to bottom should be your most important pages in order. So for you, it's probably, or for this example, it's going to be the home page at the top, usually. Then you'll have roofing location pages, right? You want it to read like a book of importance. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and just deliberate a little bit more, because I get this question quite consistently. All right. Here's how you create your content. Here's how you find the keywords. Here's how you put the content on the website. But now, how do I internally link on those pieces of content, right? When I create a blog article or a supporting piece of content, what do I link? So here's what I did. This is an article. Let's just pretend this square here, or this rectangle, is the actual article. This article is called "How Much Does a Roof Cost?" Okay. Inside of this article, there are 1, 2, 3 red lines. Those red lines signify internal links. Those internal links are pointing to the roofing page. That's our top level page. Remember this one over here? On top of that, roof location pages. So any location pages that you have that are about roofing, we're going to link to those. And then lastly, other roofing supporting content. Because remember, you're going to create and answer questions like, how much does it cost? Who should I hire? When should I hire? Right? Who, what, when, why, where, how questions. Any question supporting a sale, we might have an article if there's volume. So this is what you internally link from your blog articles. Anything that's hyper relevant to the service, and we're linking up. I hope this is making sense to you. What we covered so far, all right, just to reiterate everything, was starting from the very beginning. What we talked about was, what is supporting content? Supporting content is there to assist a sale. The next piece that we talked about was, well, where inside of here should we put our blog? To put it in the main menu, top level, that's the header. Also in your footer, it's another page. On top of that, we talked about it being just a housing page or a pillar page, except for there's internal links going to our location pages and our top level pages. Then what I walked through, I'll go back over here. Then what I walked through was, how do we internally link? Then on top of that, I even broke down one more thing, which was, what's the goal of internal linking? Like, why are we doing this? In order to showcase to Google what's most important on our website. And lastly, when we create an actual article, what are we linking to inside of that article? Well, we're linking to the stuff that's hyper relevant, that's going to lead to a sale. I hope this was helpful. My name is Chris Palmer with chrispalmer.org. This is supporting content. This is pillar content. If there's any questions related to local SEO, blogging, pillar pages, anything, never hesitate to go ahead and ask in the section below, and I'll see you in the next local SEO video. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.